And we're live, actually. Yeah, there you go. Hi, everybody, and
Oh, wow.
welcome back to the ReckLess podcast.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we're trying something new this time around. Uh, kind of doing a new format for the podcast. I'm joined today by Ranger Danger,
Hello, hello, hello.
Fatboy Killer,
Giblets.
Captain Cummybeard,
Howdy there, folks.
and Manny the Silent Guy. Say hi, Manny. Excellent. That joke is never gonna be funny, is it?
I get a kick out of it at least.
Every time, like it's just perfect. It always works. So yeah, we are doing something a little bit different this time on the podcast. We're actually not really playing anything together. We're kind of just kind of doing our own thing, and we're all kind of in a chat. Um, this week has been hectic, guys. How you guys been this week?
Sadly alive.
Just fine, just fine.
Very busy, actually. More
Same.
than usual.
I don't know if it's good or bad that we've been this busy.
Yes.
I think good, to be honest, because, the whole coronavirus quarantine thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to be doing something.
It is. That's true. I gotta admit to that. That it's actually pretty nice to have something planned other than move move from couch to bed. You get me?
Yeah,
Or from computer chair um um to sleep. So it's kind of nice. That is a nice feeling to it. Um, but no,
Um,
there's actually
I'm
quite
trying.
a. What happened? Are you okay?
I'm trying something. Keep going. Yeah, I'll
Alrighty.
let you know if it works.
Want to make sure. Alrighty. Bef- bef- before we get started, does anyone want to start up with the topic? Because they want to bring up. Someone want to go first, or
I would, but I'm
This
doing something.
game.
okay?
This game. Journey to the. What is this called? Journey to the Savage Planet. It's a good game. The trailer confused the fuck out of you.
So wait, hold up. So let's bring to a question. What have you guys been playing this week? We've
Ah.
all been home. We've all been quarantined for a very long time. You know, some more than others. Some not
M-
at all.
May, may I start with that?
Sure, go for it.
I have actually been playing quite a lot. I know in previous podcasts it hasn't been too much for me because I'm working on the mod pack a lot. But
Hmm.
I've had a lot of time off, so I've been able to actually play some other games, some off stream, some on stream. I'm playing. Actually, I streamed it earlier today. I was playing Hollow Knight, which is a 2D platforming side scroller. Metroidvania? Question mark? I think of that genre.
I
Is that
guess.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really fun game. It's got a really good art style, really good characters. It's very tight controls and good mechanics. It's really fun. I mainly started playing it because my sister got it for her Switch, and she's been playing. She played all the way through, and we just had the idea of you know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna play on stream, and you're gonna be frustrated because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I know that feeling with going in with some games. Going in with a guy who's played 40, 50 hours into a game, and then me walking in. What do I do again?
Hi, bro.
Those are fun games. Um. Yeah, no, I actually got to catch. I didn't catch this today's stream. I had some. I've had a rough day, but on the side note, I did miss this stream, but I did get to be a part of the last stream that you did, and it looked like a very fun game. I've seen gameplay before of it, and a little bit of lore and stuff behind that game. It looks like a very interesting game.
It is. I've actually never even seen gameplay of it before. A couple days ago, I've seen memes about it, and I
Yeah.
kind of understand what they mean just through like overall context. But I was always kind of like, I don't really get this. I haven't become any the wiser because I'm still really early in the game. But hopefully, by finishing this, I'll get a little more of that.
Cool. The actual reason how I was brought up to that game, particularly Hollow Knight, is the game theorist. He made a theory about it maybe about 8 months ago or so. about it, about the whole, about the lore of the game, and it sounded pretty cool. I played a little bit of it on the Game Pass because it is on the Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass.
Is it on the Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that didn't work.
Yeah. So
In addition to that, I've also been playing, and it's actually the game that is on the podcast right now. Unfortunately, it's not a
it's not working.
question mark. I was trying to mess with because right now the game's panels is separate from my actual
Yeah.
icon. I want to see if I can make the game contain the icon itself. Discord's having a heart attack apparently.
Yeah, it
But I
does that.
wasn't able to do that, so I'm gonna change my icon because the color blends in too much to the outline.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been playing. The game's called Dusk. It's really fun. It's a retro-inspired first-person shooter with pretty low. I don't want to say bad graphics, but it's low poly graphics with an excellent aesthetic, really tight controls, really tight mechanics, and a bunch of cultists to shoot. It's been real fun. Spoiled on the story for it though, because I was watching a YouTuber called Civi11. I found out the game through him, and he did a whole series on it. So I'm spoiled for the lore, but I'm playing the game just for the game. It is amazing. I highly recommend it.
Well, you're one of those players who doesn't play games mainly for the lore. You're the one. You mentioned it before on other podcasts that you typically play things just for the mechanics.
Yes. Um, I, I, I don't. I don't want to say that I don't play games for the story. Sometimes I just feel like for games should be games, and mechanics and gameplay come before story. But sometimes I appreciate a really good story. I mean, if you're looking for a good story, you don't play Dust because I mean it's good, but
There's other
playing is
things.
better out of Hollow Knight.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Yeah, and currently right now I've been actually playing quite a bit of games because we've been streaming so much. You know, we've been playing I've been playing tons of Minecraft. I've been playing tons of Balloons actually. Balloons Tower Defense 6, with Emmanuel and Karina. And I was playing a lot of Modern Warfare, which it's been tons of fun.
I'm not gonna lie, you told me to get that, but I forgot about it today.
Yeah.
I'm still down to play that. Like, I'm still down to give it a shot, but I did kind of forget about it today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the really cool thing is that Fatboy is willing to put in a third of the money, and I'm willing to put another third of the money. So all you gotta do is pay $20, and you can
Oh,
get the full game.
I'll just get it. I'm not strapped for cash at all. I'll just get it.
I know, but if you don't want to pay for it, we can help you with it.
I don't mind. I seriously don't mind.
All right, fine.
God
Fuck you then.
damn it, bro.
Take my money, goddammit.
I can't
I mean, I'll
afford
take it.
it.
No,
I'll
no,
take
now
it,
it's
but
late. Now you've offended me.
okay, fuck you then.
You've offended me and my family.
I've offended your sensibilities. Okay, yeah, sure, why not?
Um, what about you? What about you? You Manny? What have you been playing?
Regular Manny.
Regular Manny. I just said Manny, by the way. I didn't say E Manny. I said Manny.
I heard you. You said E Manny.
No, I just said what have you been playing, Manny. I 100% said that.
No, it's okay. Fine, go ahead. Sorry.
Fucking murder you.
Also, I played Balloon Tower 6,
Oh yeah, nice.
and not really that much, but I also play a little bit of the new game Valorant. You heard
Oh,
of it?
I've heard a lot of good stuff about that game.
What
Yeah,
is it called?
Valorant.
Valorant
It's
is a like a tactical like first-person shooter team-based created by the Riot, the
Valorant. Oh.
Yeah.
it's basically
like the company Riot Games who make League of Legends.
Yeah.
They
Swallow your
finally
mic, fat boy.
started making more
Oh.
games.
Yeah.
Finally.
what I've heard the game is like 80% Counter Strike and then 20% League of Legends. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, it's a
This-
strange it's a
I'm
combination
not.
between CS:GO and Overwatch.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say this kind of sounds like Quake Champions, but instead of CS:GO, it's Quake. So it's between Quake and Overwatch. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
That sounds
Yeah,
like a lot of fun, actually.
the gameplay is just like CS:GO, there are abilities, but they're very like limited. You can only use it for a certain amount of time.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Like
saw
usually like once or twice.
I
Per
saw
Fuck
like
goddamn
per rounds?
wise, you
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
per round.
Oh, okay. That's that's
You know
dope.
how like CS:GO work goes, right?
I've never played CS:GO.
there
Yeah,
are
so it's there are abilities, but it's very like gun heavy. So to start at a round,
buy your
you had
weapons.
to buy guns. You also buy like a you had to buy like a ability and armor.
So it's the abilities aren't the front of it like a MOBA. It's more of your equipment and your loadouts still.
Yeah,
But you know what? That does sound neat.
Yeah. What's his name? Deadman was playing that recently. I gotta see him play it for a little bit. Uh, um, our friend.
Was he playing it? I haven't.
Yeah, he's been playing quite a
I
bit of it
didn't know.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have and on their Discord server they have tons of people who play it. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. This is the first time I've heard of it.
I heard a little bit
I
about it before. Um, with again the Achievement Hunters. They did a stream on it too, but I wasn't really introduced to it until what's his name? Deadman was talking me into getting it.
Getting what?
About
it is on closed beta right now.
mhm.
In order to get
Oh, okay.
and in order to get the key, you had to like you had to get a Reddit account. And you had to uh merge it with your Twitch account, and then you had to watch a streamer.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. So it's like yet. Okay, that's
You
weird.
gotta get a lot of work to do it, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically, you just you gotta watch like a streamer for like maybe like more than 2 hours, and then after that, you just wait.
Okay. I mean, I can see why they did it like that. That's actually pretty smart on their end, but
And
it seems it's very unorthodox.
it's how you build a community, man.
Yeah, fair enough.
That also explains that there's not a lot of news about it. Is because since it's in that closed beta, it hasn't you know it hasn't hit everyone. So
Yeah.
no, but
So it's currently in closed beta. Is there a date for like an open beta, or is there like a release date so far at all?
They haven't say when the closed beta ends, but the game is gonna be released on summer.
Ah, summer. Okay, that's pretty close. Yeah.
yeah, I mean we're starting summer what next month?
Is that close already? You know what? It felt like summer today. Oh. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but I changed my icon
Yes.
back to a ranger, and it's the color. Not only is the color perfect, but it you can see my outline more clearly now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for Cummy Beard, it's really hard to see when he's talking because it's also green. Like all of us, I don't know why. I don't 100% understand why mine's purple. Other than maybe it's because of the image. So
I believe it chooses like the overall main color of it, probably. Like even though on mine the background is white, most of the color is dominated by like the browns and the yellows.
that would explain mine because mine is mostly purple.
Although why Manny's is white still, even though most of it's yellow and black. There, I don't know.
What is that character, by the way? What is that?
Oh, it's I've been getting into like Common Writer.
Oh,
Okay, and continue. Hello, test test.
yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Cummy Beard, his is all green, so I can never. You really, unless you can hear him, you can't tell that he's speaking.
Yeah, why is get profile image?
Yeah, man, just put a picture. Put.
Of what?
Yeah, yours is still bitchin', by the way, fat boy.
Bet.
Straight bitchin'.
Why is the computer being about game?
Fuck, I lost him. Yeah, I've been playing tons of balloons. What have you guys been? What have you been playing, Fatboy? Swallow your mic.
Oh wait, there you go. Can you guys hear me now? Was that better?
Yes,
Much
yes,
better.
yes. You sound amazing.
So I've been playing a lot of COD. Apparently, sitting on my bed and playing COD, I'm doing marvelously. And then I've been playing Red Dead 2. And now this godforsaken game.
What game is it?
Journey to the Savage Planet. It's on Game Pass.
Journey to the
Single player co-op game.
Savage
Or
Planet.
solo if you want to play solo. It's like 6 by download wise. I've been playing this since what? 5 hours now?
Yeah, it was released like early January or like late January. Excuse me. It looks interesting. Let me see. Let me see if I could put some images on.
It's out there. It's the trailer for it just fucking something else, honestly.
Let's see really quick. All right.
Swallow your mic.
Yeah, Solar Mike. So this is actually what the game is. It looks pretty cool.
Hey, Wise, how you doing that? How you getting rid of the stability of the shrine?
It looks
I
like
think if you
it
get the
looks
little
super
bird.
cartoony.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at it. Yeah, I like the art style.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Look at these things. It gives me. You know what it reminds me of? It looks like it reminds me of like Ratchet and Clank um
That's
and
exactly what I said. It reminds me of a Ratchet and Clank commercial.
yeah, that's what it looks like. Or like, oh my God, do you guys remember Jax and the Legend of
Jack
the
and Dexter.
no Jack no that one too, but no, there used to be an old Nickelodeon show, Jax
Jax.
and the Power of
Oh,
Juju,
oh,
and the Power of Juju.
this sounds familiar.
It's this one. There's a game that looks just like this as well. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. It's an old Nickelodeon show. It's Tack, excuse me, not Jack. Tack.
Oh, oh, you know what? That looks so familiar.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know why it gave me that vibe. Like, just the art style gave me that vibe.
No, you know, I see it. I definitely see
There
it.
you go. That's why. That's exactly why. The eyes and stuff with the characters in the game. Yeah, that's the or like some of the enemies. Yeah. So yeah, no, I know that. That looks pretty cool.
Oh,
I
Wise,
gotta
grenade,
admit,
grenade.
man, how many so many of those cartoons, man, that
No,
a whole generation
don't
will
kill
never
them.
get
We
to
need to get
see.
them near the fucking thing.
Do you guys remember all those
Oh, we
old
gotta
cartoons?
destroy the shrine?
Like all those like really like
But it
they
says protect the shrine.
the ones that had like one or two seasons, like
The
Tack or
obscure
like
ones.
yeah the obscure ones or like Totally Spies or Code Lyoko
Oh fuck, I threw a grenade on that.
or
Total Spies wasn't obscure.
well I mean you only got it was only what uh if I'm not mistaken it was only like in the morning slot for Cartoon Network if I'm not mistaken, and then it switched to for the summer during the day like 2 3 in the afternoon,
I
and they
definitely remember watching a little bit of it. Of
and
Tack, right?
yeah, and then there's another one that's called Martin Mystery. I don't know if you guys remember that show.
Martin Mystery. Don't remember that one. I probably recognize it if I saw it.
It's a very old show. Let me see. Let me open this back up. Let's see.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, there you go. This show right here. Uh,
Waiting for the stream.
trying to get better image. Yeah, and poop. There you go. Oh fuck, fuck. There you go. Yeah, this show. This is a really old one. Martin Mystery. That was in the morning slot as well. Code. This show. This show
Ooh.
hit different beats, man.
I don't remember that one. Maybe
This
a little bit.
totally spy. It already knows. Totally Spies.
I remember Totally Spies. That was a weird show.
That was also a weird show. What about 16?
I
Oh
remember
yeah.
16. That was a good show.
That
If weird.
one was also weird. Uh, I like
Total Drama Island.
Total Drama Island.
Oh, that was a good one.
There are
My boy
so
Owen
When that was on
got
Netflix.
fucked up the first season.
there's
I know,
so
right? Oh, poor
many
Owen.
seasons. There's so many seasons of that show. Do you know that?
Dude, what are we supposed to do here? I'm so fucking confused.
Like
Total Drama or 16? Total Drama.
Total Drama. 16 only had 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. But uh Total Drama has Total Drama, Total Drama Island, Total Drama Action, World Tour. They had a new cast come out and do World Total Drama Island again, and then they did um like a kid like a the same characters but in as kids.
What?
That's what I said, and I only know this because it's on Netflix.
Oh, I know that because of Shad Man.
Uh,
Oh.
He did make it, or at least not that I know of. But there was a meme of him like posting a tweet picture of that, and everyone's like, "No, Shad, no."
No, down, bad boy.
Here it is. Okay, let me show this image.
Nine.
Let me show this image. All right, there's so many characters throughout like there's just so many.
That was such a good show, though.
Yeah. How many seasons? Let me see. Let me see how many seasons this motherfucker had. It had 5 seasons. It's 5 seasons. Let's see. Uh, Total Drama. It had okay. So it was Island, Action, World Tour, Revenge of the Island, All Stars, and Redonkulous Race for the Total Dramas. And there's I believe there's a spin-off.
Total drama.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a thing? That was a thing. Or was that like the last episode of the first one?
So okay, so Total Drama Rama is a spin-off of as Total Drama Daycare. So it's when they're kids.
Oh.
Yeah, there are what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons technically of that fucking show. And so like it's good. That's the problem.
That's the problem? Is that it's good?
Like they kept making it and then it got really bad towards the end.
Oh, yeah, well.
Like even pushing to third season was all right. Fourth season, all right, we got whole new characters, it's all fresh, there's nothing to deal with. Great. But then they doubled back. Yeah, so it yeah.
You know what, though? That'll happen with any show if you let it go on too long.
Yeah,
Look at
that's true.
Look at Family Guy.
That is true, man. Look,
Look at The Simpsons.
you lose quality. Lord, look, or one of our beloved ones, SpongeBob as well. After
Oh,
after the main creator died, you know, everything went to
all
shit.
downhill from there.
Mhm. That man's rolling around in his grave.
And the creator already left before he died.
Yeah. He had left and come back and then left right before he died.
Did he? I don't recall. But I didn't keep tabs, so.
Yeah. I actually I have there's a YouTube channel out there that's it's called Nerdstalgic. I would highly recommend watching his stuff.
Nostalgic. I think I've seen a few things of him. The name sounds familiar, at least.
He does a lot of like stuff like about like some old shows and how they were, what was good about them, what was bad about them. Uh, some stuff behind the scenes and everything. Um, he did a couple of them on SpongeBob, and that's where I know I learned that from. Where the quality of SpongeBob had completely changed, and how originally it was supposed to end with the SpongeBob movie, like the first movie, and then when they wanted to re-end it again, they made the SpongeBob the second movie that came out recently. Well, I say recently, but it's been a few years now. And there's a rumor that there's another SpongeBob movie come out that's supposed to be again the end of the series because now that the main creator's gone, like is dead.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't know. It's making Nickelodeon tons of fucking money. I doubt they're gonna want to get rid of their cash cow. So
Gotta have that dosh, man.
I don't doubt in my mind that they're not gonna do it. Fuck.
Rip SpongeBob.
Literally.
Rip. Literally.
Rip and tear.
Rip and tear. Oh, by the way, Doom Eternal. Ooh.
All right. Do you want
Great game.
to get into that topic?
This is a good segue? Okay.
That's how I
So,
segue. All right.
okay, works for me. So, so Doom Eternal. Good games. Fantastic soundtrack. You know who does the soundtrack? Mick Gordon. Um, real good guy, real good music, metal, good. So recently, they released the soundtrack for Doom Eternal, like the actual soundtrack that you can get, not part of the game, the soundtrack itself that you can buy. Well, um, it seems like this time around, Mick Gordon didn't really have too much involvement in that, which is strange considering he made that. And it seems that Bethesda cut him out of it, and they mixed the tracks themselves. Um,
Alright, why did they do
and
that?
there's an image in the ReckLess podcast chat that shows the difference between the original, because I think the example was for BFG division. My voice is bleeding through someone really bad.
Yeah. It's Fat Boy's mic, and your mic is bleeding. It's not. Let me.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Yeah. No. It's bleeding completely through. Right here. Here's the image.
Yeah. So that shows you. So the first one is Doom 2016's version of BFG division, and the second one is Doom Eternal's BFG 2020. In the soundtrack themselves, in the game they're perfectly fine, but in the soundtrack you can see that the lines are a lot flatter in the soundtrack for Doom Eternal, and that's basically it's someone doing poor audio mixing and not doing it right, or at least doing it proper. Because because BFG Division in 2016, because of the peaks aren't as smooth, has a lot more definition and variance to it. I'm no person in music theory or sound theory or anything like that, but you can definitely see it visually in this picture right here.
Yeah.
And that seems to have really pissed Mick Gordon off. So there's another thing, another image there saying, like a tweet, him saying that, you know, someone asked him, "Hey, do you think you'll work with it again for another new game?" And he says, "Peep," and he basically says he doubts it. So is he gonna work with it again? If I was him, unless they did something to rectify the issue, I wouldn't blame him if he didn't.
No.
It's just it's like the problem is that he's so quintessential to modern Doom games because he's done the soundtrack to them, and the soundtracks are amazing. That it almost like it wouldn't be Doom without him.
Well, here's the biggest thing, because that's a big thing. When you think of a video game, you don't only think about. There's a lot of things that go into making a good video game. It's there's graphics is a big thing, story is a big thing, but one of and all those little finite details. One of the biggest ones is sound design. Sound design does a lot of things to our psyches when we play games. It makes That's why bosses typically have their own boss music, because it kind of gets you in that zone. It has a different way on affecting your psyche. So when you play that game, you get me. So when
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
I want to compare it similar to how Skyrim works, where like you'll have tons of sound design where it's like nice and peaceful and stuff and like that. But then when you get to tons of action, and there's dragon comes out, the tempo and the music picks up, and it builds, and it adds to the atmosphere of the game, and it kind of helps you immerse yourself into those games. And for Doom being metal and blood and gore, and it gets you in that state of mind. You get me?
yeah. Sound design in a game is as important, if not more important, than graphics.
Yeah, I agree.
Because honestly, and this is just my overall theory for game itself, but games should be made to be played and should have a focus on not only just mechanics, that's really important, but how it feels. Games are about feeling rather than showing, in my opinion. So having a really good sound design is it's the hallmark of a great game. I want to bring up the games that I talked about earlier, Dusk and Hollow Knight. They have phenomenal sound design. They sound so good, and everything
Mic
sounds
off.
right. And oh my god, I'm bleeding again. Um,
Mic on.
Boyle, can you fix your mic, please?
I don't know how to do it, but it's literally the point where I have to yell for you guys to
can
hear
he?
me.
Oh, I guess he's comfortable and he can't. Because maybe he can use push to talk. I don't know if he probably can't do that on his
Move
phone.
it a little bit lower.
Is that better?
Test,
Test 1 2 test 1 2.
test,
Yeah, that
test.
works.
That actually worked perfectly. All right, yep.
Fuck,
Okay,
I gotta
what was
yell
it?
at the top of my lungs for motherfuckers to hear me.
You're not yelling.
Dude, I'm
Actually,
yelling. I have
you are
no
not
headphones on.
yelling.
I'm literally yelling just for you guys to hear me.
You sound. I literally have one headphone on. You sound normal.
Who's yelling?
Oh, you know what? That sounds like your problem.
But yeah,
What was I saying? Yeah. So sound design in the game is very, very
Sky
important, and
tennis.
yeah, games that have good sound design generally tend to be on the better side. So maybe not just because of that sound design, but because sound design is overlooked by crappy developers.
yeah.
And if it has game has good sound design, it probably has good developers, and it's usually going to be a good game.
Well, I want to point out one of our favorite games that has some really good sound design, and this is gonna be a very controversial comment. Minecraft, on how that music works in that game. You get me?
Yeah, okay, I agree there. Minecraft, it depends on the context of what, because vanilla Minecraft is really well, but some mods, well, mods are its own thing.
Yeah. Well, like
Well,
if
I
you're
want
just
to.
playing vanilla, it's one of those things where like you'll be playing and then the music just starts at random, and it kind of just builds on what you're doing.
Yeah, sorry. Because bringing up like Flans mod and Tech Guns, their sound is they sound good, but
It's
there's
not
no
the
real
same.
directionalness to it. So everything just sounds loud, and you gotta adjust volume settings, especially for louder guns.
Hmm.
Minecraft in general is it works.
Or like what's the other one that I like to play quite a bit? Star Wars. Star Wars
Battlefront.
Battlefront. Yeah. How its sound design is, it the music I think in Star Wars itself, it's because of how it was composed, it's very very good at building tension and building the atmosphere of whatever you're in. You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
And I think that helps quite a bit uh for the game itself, that you kind of get that. I can't name a game that I know that has shitty sound.
7 days.
Yeah, no, you're
Okay,
right. You're
seven
right.
days
That,
is an
oh, yeah.
okay game, but 7 days sound is pretty.
Yeah,
Like it's there, but it's like
it's an afterthought more than in a.
yeah, it has its moments because oh shit, it has its moments, especially on day 7, where you get like that big horde and like all like the screaming and stuff. That's real tense and that's real good, but overall it leaves a lot to be desired.
You know what other one has a really good one? Avorion.
Avorian's awesome,
Oh,
actually.
that game gets you like just it just sucks you into it. We need to play that again. I've been saying that forever and a day, but we really do.
Gotta find time for it, man.
I don't know, man. We've been doing a lot of streams. We just gotta slot it out for one of our streams.
It's a lot easier said than done. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Avorian's all right. I will admit though that I did add custom music for mine, and the music I chose went really well with it.
If I was to add anything, it'd probably be some music either from Star Wars or from another, you know, space s genre.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do that. I use a lot of mine from. There's an artist called. He has royalty-free music called TechnoX.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good, and I added a bunch of his from there as well. Mainly because I think the main reason I did this was because for some reason back when we were doing Evoria and streaming it, some of the music that comes with the game gets copyright claim for
Mm-hmm.
some reason. So I had to kind of find my own tracks for it. But the ones I chose worked really well for it. To kind of backtrack a little bit, because the original question of what we've been playing, Wise, what have you been playing?
Yeah.
Uh, just kind of like what Boyo has been saying. This game just recently got back into Red Dead Online and some COD, a few other ones, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, shit. There was a few that I've been checking out. Like one, I forget the name of it, but it was semi childish. Like it, it wasn't outright. It was like Disney XD kind of way,
Do you remember the title of the
where
game?
like anyone can join it, but it's mostly bred for kids.
Which
And I kind of stopped.
what game was it?
Fucking Starcrafter? No, not Starcraft. It was Star something. And the main reason why I could tell it was because I helped some fucking alien race and it was like, Interstellar! I'm like, oh god, fuck. It's this kind of game, isn't it? And then after that stopped.
So it was a shitty game.
Not bad, but just, it's kiddish.
Immature.
Yeah. It's bred for like middle schoolers and grade schoolers, like that kind of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
not super bad. Like, you still like basically like massacre. In a spaceship and you kill people, but just like dialogue choice.
Just real immature, not really appropriate for the situation.
Yeah.
Like that, or yeah. I actually think I played a game like that at one point on the Switch. It was called Manticore something. It was a space game, but it was pretty bad. It was real cheesy, and cheesy games can be good at times. Just being in the the
In the grand scheme of
fucking
things,
no the phrase so bad it's good.
yeah.
Yeah, games can be good if they're so bad they can be good in that regard, but that's a fine line to trod. Ugh, bad games. Ugh.
There's a lot of bad games, man. There's a lot of bad games. Fallout 76. Oh, sorry. I coughed a
Yeah,
little.
What are we talking about?
Oh,
Who?
my fucking throat hurts.
bad is too good for that fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, it has gotten better. Like, I haven't played the new DLC. From what I hear, it sounds much better than it was before. But it's still a fucking nightmare.
It's still a buggy piece of fucking
It's
hot garbage.
DLC.
It has DLC,
That
yeah.
the Wastelanders is DLC.
Yes, it
God,
is.
you
Yes,
think
they have
Bethesda would apologize and they make that the main game at this point?
I mean, it might as well be. It's the first thing you
No,
do when you make a new character. Like, I kid you not, it's the first thing you walk into.
maybe if they had done this at the beginning, this wouldn't have been a problem. Hi, Bethesda.
All right, we're gonna go on another fucking rant here about Bethesda. They just need to get this shit together because what worries me is that I haven't heard any word about the new Elder Scrolls game or is it StarCraft? No, what was the game? We talked about it in the original the first podcast we did. I wanted to bring it back up for that.
Rage, Quake. No, Bethesda. I don't know.
Yeah, it was either StarCraft or something like that.
No, it wasn't StarCraft because that's Blizzard.
Look into it. Look into it. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. All right. Bethesda. Starfield.
What is that game? I don't. I legitimately don't recall.
Let me show
Sounds
it.
familiar.
I mean, Wise, you mentioned it, so I think actually Ranger, you mentioned it.
That was the name of the fucking thing.
Did I mention?
I'm almost like 100% sure about it.
I just
Let's see. There you
All
go.
right,
This
fuck.
game,
I'll have to check what fucking things I got.
Starfield.
Oh yeah, Castle Crashers. Holy shit, remastered. I got that a few days ago as well.
I remember this exact image is in the first podcast. That's how I know.
Starfield.
I have no idea what it was, but I know you guys brought it up. You too.
Nah,
It,
the thing I'm
it,
talking
it,
about is single player.
it looks appealing because I mean I'm a sucker for space themed games anyways, so that looks appealing. But knowing Bethesda, oof.
Yeah, I haven't heard any real news about it at all. Or that, yeah. So I'm not. So I guess it was Bethesda's original RPG.
Original RPG,
Yeah, it literally says
like
Bethesda's developer a little game called Skyrim are back with their first original RPG in 25 years.
oh, it's a new IP.
It's a new IP. Yeah, excuse me, new IP. So
Okay, okay. I
let's
still
see.
don't trust them, but okay. I'm listening, Bethesda. You better impress me this time. I'm not accepting another Fallout 76.
Nope, I don't think anyone is at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Bethesda. Oof. Bethesda is one of those game companies that's really fallen from grace.
Yeah,
Like they used to be like really, really good. You know, Skyrim,
Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls,
Oh.
Fallout. Like those were like such quintessential games,
They were.
and
You know what it was?
they
If
what?
if I may say it, they were good at the peak of the Xbox 360. If you were to ask everybody what game you had during that era of console gaming, or even no, I can't even say console gaming because those games were also on PC, but those games that most people would have were either Fallout 3 or Oblivion and or Skyrim when it was early out. Most people that were playing just about anything at least had one of those games, and all three of them are Bethesda games.
Yeah, but like they were good at one point, but the problem was is that their games have always been pretty buggy messes,
Yeah, they are
and
extremely known for that.
the thing is though is that usually they don't fix those bugs. The community does, and as a result,
But
they just don't optimize their games because they're like, oh yeah, well modders will do it, and unfortunately that just doesn't fly anymore because Fallout 76.
They keep using the same engine.
And yeah, that too. I forgot about that. Thank you, Manny. Uh,
well,
you,
and it
it's not exactly the same engine, but it's like
it's like point .5 version of it of the
yeah,
old one.
it's like barely upgraded for the task.
Well, here's my thing because I remember for the longest time we were giving tons of shit for EA about it, but about Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they listened. I for up till recently that I'm actually gonna bring that up in a bit of what happened, but up till recently they they actually listened to what we wanted, and fixed all the shit that was wrong with the game. You know, all the crazy microtransactions and none of these, you know, all this, all the free DLCs and all that stuff. We got it all. And now the game has now flourished from being a hot pile of garbage to good. Similar thing to how we talked about No Man's Sky. You get me?
Oh, No Man's Sky, yeah, that's a
But
good example.
but I don't understand why Bethesda not it doesn't it's not Bethesda's first example of this happening. So why, if if common sense goes, oh, that's hot, don't touch it, and you touch it once, you get burned. Your second time where you don't want to touch it, why do they keep putting their hand in the fire? Why not do it right the first time and not the backlash? You get me?
Greed.
But look what like, you get me? Like, even you can't even say it's greed anymore, because how much money did they actually lose in for Fallout 76? Or
People
losing?
still bought Fallout 76.
Yeah.
You, so many people still bought it because they had faith still,
I
Yeah. We did.
and it was. I bought it.
twice. I bought
I
it
like
twice.
paid $60 with that flaming
As
pile
did
of shit.
I.
I didn't even play it.
Yeah, I spent fucking 90 on the Tricentennial, and I got fuck all to show for it, besides a few paints.
Spent really $25 for the Xbox. Wait, I got the Xbox One Trice for 25. That was brand new from a guy I gave. Shout out to.
Like, it's I bring it up because it's like, we all had faith, because you know typically, but we have it where the games are genuinely good, but with tons of bugs. I've played quite a bit of Elder Scrolls Online, um, and they do keep up with that game,
They
because
do.
they do, not, how do I put this, not as much as they should, but they do, they keep up with it, because they keep, you know what it is, it's because it keeps making them a lot of money with all their DLCs that they release and all the stuff that keeps going on with it. They put a lot more effort into it. Now, if they could have
It's
done
a
that,
cash cow.
yeah, if they would have done that, because Fallout is another cash cow, why not put the exact same effort into that and make buttloads of money? You get me?
Because if people, because people will, if people are going to buy the game regardless, it doesn't matter how much work they put into it. So they just put out crap, and people still eat it up because Fallout or Elder Scrolls or
Enter name here.
yeah, like any popular game series. People eat that shit up, and it's sad. And but that's just unfortunately a truth of the gaming industry. Where did we go so wrong?
I also feel that's the same way with the movies as well.
You think?
I want to say yes, because again, with this coming back to an older podcast, with Star Wars. You get it? Like, we all still went to go watch the Rise of Skywalker. Well, most of us went to go see the Rise of Skywalker. Hundreds of people millions of people went to go see it. You know, tons of the fans hated it, and you know, Disney still got their money at the end of the day. They got their big wad of
Yeah,
cash, and we're
yeah,
swimming in it all day.
yeah.
Well, I don't think they even broke bank. Yeah, they made money, but I don't think nearly enough to even cover their costs.
Oh, absolutely they did. Easy. Absolutely, they made money on that fucking movie, dude.
I'm actually gonna fucking Google it.
I'm actually not too sure myself, but you know what though? Considering this whole coronavirus situation, movie industry is in shambles,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and the gaming industry is like, yeah,
yeah. This is like
everyone's staying home.
and the funny thing is, it's now one of those things where we're gonna have a generation of people that who originally, like, for example, my parents, who aren't huge people with video games. The most they do is like on a mobile thing. I kid you not. I have a video of my dad playing COD on Foil's account for a little bit, because he just wanted to try it. It's one of those things where people now see, like, well, what's all the all of the all of the talk about this, now that we're stuck in home and can't do anything. You get me?
Yeah.
On a side note, I'm being a responsible streamer. I'm actually drinking water.
Oh, it's not alcohol this time, guys.
No,
Nice.
it's not alcohol.
It's not alcohol.
It's non-alcoholic water, man.
Yeah, of course. As opposed to alcoholic water.
That's that's
This is
that's just
vodka.
that's just tequila on ice. You put a little bit of ice in your tequila. You let the ice melt a little, and then there you go.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
I should go seek counseling.
You should.
I was.
And then your counselor would need counseling
Yeah,
after
my
that.
counselor would need counseling, so I don't know, man. I don't know if that'd do more harm than good. But yeah, no, that's where I'm saying it. Well, this brings me up to my good news. Now that we're on the topic with Disney and Star Wars, um, I have some very good news. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, Ranger, but season 2 of Mandalorian just actually released like a teaser trailer today
Okay.
about some stuff. I
Hell
have
yeah.
it's still on schedule to be released. It's still on that for that window. Disney does want to make that money, so they're gonna do it at the end of the year. How they're gonna do it. But no, we actually got confirmation of a couple of new streaming things. I don't remember the actress's name. Let me look her up really quick so I get the name right. Why did I do that? No, pin. Thank you.
Oh god.
So, Rosario Dawson. She's been in almost all of the Netflix of Avenger movies. You know, all those movies. I mean, all those shows. She's actually gonna play Ahsoka Tano in the Mandalorian season 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's confirmed, and she's actually getting her own spin-off series, live action as well.
Ooh. That's new.
Supposedly dating around the same time as the Mandalorian. Um, I don't know. Again, I don't remember how if you guys any of you guys seen Star Wars Rebels.
I've not no.
All right. Well, she's in that show. That's the image I'm showing right now. And the Mandalorian takes part right after Return of the Jedi, which is actually right after Rebels, the show Rebels. So we'll see how that works out for it. But no, there's another show coming out that they mentioned uh, is going to be coming out is that they're doing is a show in the another live action show, but in the Old Republic.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like like
like not episodes 1, 2, 3, but before that.
like
Like
no like
before?
like thousands of years before. Like the high,
Oh shit!
there's other things that they're doing for the high like the high the like the high
Republic.
the High Republic. They're doing a bunch of like shows for that. Like they're not gonna do any live actions at least to date, but they are doing some cartoons and stuff. Uh, but they if rumor has it true, and a couple of sites have pointed out that they're doing a live action Knights of the Old Republic. So Revan like Revan and um Malice and all them are gonna be in that one. I've spoken gibberish because nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. At least I don't think so.
I get most of what you're saying. Like I'm not completely lost when it comes to Star Wars. I know a certain amount of things, but there are just certain like you mentioned Knights of the Old Republic. Like I don't know anything about that. Like I've
It
heard of it, but I'm not familiar with any lore that involves that.
it's several thousand years before the Battle of Yavin. Old Republic. Let me see. Let me get an exact. There's a game. It's very good. I recommend playing those. I think there's two games actually.
By the way, if I may ask, are my like keyboard clicks going through a lot?
Boy, we couldn't hear you, but Bo says they're
Fuck.
a little bit, but not too much. So it takes about 4,000 years before A New Hope. Yeah, so
Oh shit.
there's
Okay.
still Jedi and Sith, and there's some things, but there's a lot of ancient lore that they hint at from in some of the shows that they've done about the Old Republic. Um, one if I'm not mistaken, the Ghost from Rebels isn't actually an Old Republic era ship.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's a YT 1300 cruiser compared to the Millennium Falcon being the YT 1300. Yeah.
So it's like ancient. I get it.
Yeah, it's just older. It's just different iterations of a very similar ship. That ship, that YT 1300, that freighter has so many iterations for so many different things, similar to the Tie Fighter and the X-wing and all that. There's so many like iterations of that. Like you could see like almost like if it was like a car. You know, cars evolve over time.
Yeah.
Star Wars has that
Mm-hmm.
for their ships, and I think that's super cool.
That's good world building. Back when that was an important thing.
I mean, it's at least for Star Wars, but I mean, for that's actually right now what everybody's trying to go at. Most movie people, most franchises are wanting to do because they saw that again with the success of Marvel's cinematic universe. You know, oh, is it cinematic anymore? Is it just cinematic? I would think it's not anymore because it's not just cinematic. It's not just the movies because now they have a bunch of Disney Plus streaming shows that tie into it. There's a bunch of stuff, you know, that they're adding. So it's more like connected, Marvel connected universe.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah.
But yeah, like that, they're still super successful with all that stuff. And I think that's why they don't want to put Black Widow out on Disney Plus yet. I don't know. That movie has been there. It was supposed to release, I believe, a month ago. In theaters right before this whole virus came out. And you know,
Alright, boys, I found the boss. Finally.
yeah, you can't have a movie theater when nobody's going out to watch movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the Mandalorian will do well still.
yeah,
Why is I found the boss?
that I'm what bums me out about this whole quarantine thing that they push back so much stuff. They're pushing back The Witcher season 2.
God damn it.
I'm super upset about that, man.
I'm not.
Look,
All he said was fuck and
Hmm.
and have you seen it finally, Ranger?
No, I memes.
The memes, man. It just I mean, that's basically the whole show. He puts his dick in it and he goes.
And
Fuck.
gratuitous silence. I think I remember because you were watching it and I was overhearing what he said. I think your reaction was, "Did they rip her ovaries out
Yeah, no, they
or something
absolutely
like
did.
that?"
They 100% ripped the
yeah,
chick's
that
ovaries out.
That's horrible.
Like, no, that was an image that you got to see. They burned it. It's an image that I cannot unsee.
I can.
Like, it's one thing to to put sex on the show or whatever, but that shit turned my stomach.
Why is it?
Like, it was
Some convincing,
unnecessary.
some convincing special effects.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I see what we're getting at with this. Uh, that no, the effects on that show are really good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You go treat yourself.
But sure, why not? At some point,
I just been giving you a laundry list of things to watch, and I know you haven't watched shit.
it's time,
You have
availability.
2 screens, motherfucker.
Okay. I just said it was. It's not the screen real estate that's the issue here.
Look,
It's
bitch.
the fact that I'm lazy.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, that's true. Like, I have like a tradition now with this podcast. Like, we do this podcast, whatever, and immediately after this podcast, I watch my new episode of Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Like that's just like my religious thing. Podcast, boom, done. Immediately to Star Wars.
Podcast Star Wars.
Immediate. We've actually so when Mortimer's on, we actually watch it. I stream it through Discord, so you can watch it too. So I mean, it's good, man. And there's another rumor there. That's what's going on because there's a so I think I mentioned it to you the other day, but how the Star Wars the Clone Wars is supposed to be just between seasons of episode 1 of 2 of episode 2 and 3 of Star Wars.
Right? Yeah.
Well, there is a couple rumors going around from LucasArts that they're gonna do basically like almost like a miniseries, supposedly like right after the Revenge of the Sith, like in the same like following the things of the Clone Wars, but just like almost like an epilogue.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And I'm gonna watch the shit out of that too. It's 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 such an interesting time between that early age of the early time of the Empire. You get me? I think a lot of Legends did so well doing that, and some of it was completely bonkers. But like, you guys have all played Star Wars Battlefront 2, right? The original one, 2005 one,
Mm-hmm.
that
Fucking love it.
the campaign. That's an actual.
Hell
That's an
yeah.
actual. That's actually considered a Legend story. So that's during the time of when Legends was the main continuity.
Might as
Uh,
well still be.
I mean, yeah. Uh, they that was a big thing that what happened to most of the clones and everything was kind of just, all right. This blanket statement. This is what's happening. Um, the clones were, most of the clones were either completely like early on in the stage were just completely like, you're done, you're retired, or were in the case of the 501st, they were put like right under Darth Vader. That was his attack, his main group of motherfuckers. So, um,
Sorry.
excuse me. Yeah, no, that's I I I don't know, man. I have any of you guys played the new Star Wars game? That, well, I say new, but the Star Wars game, the yeah, no, was it the Jedi
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order? Yeah, have you guys played it? Seen any gameplay of it?
I have not played it, but I've heard good, favorable things about it. Like it's actually one of the first good Star Wars games to come out in a long time. Like good from the start, not
Yeah,
like how
it
Star
was
Wars two
yeah
got good.
yeah. It was good from the start. It reminds me a lot, and I think this is why I liked it so much when I saw it was the it reminds me a lot of Force Unleashed games. It was kind of like a legend story that then they built, on, and it was not really connected to anything. It was loosely connected to what was going on with the rest of the galaxy or whatever.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, the whole thing was that, and I'm gonna get into this right now, that Darth Vader had made a clone, like an assassin, like a clone assassin, that was deep in the Force. His name was Starkiller. It was a whole thing. And he ends up actually being like the ground, like one of the like founding members of the rebellion, and that's
Oh
and
shit.
that's how Darth Vader got to know who was a part of the rebellion and who wasn't, basically because he had that spy. But you know that same story is actually been told in Rebels, but instead of Galen Merrick or Starkiller, it is now Ahsoka being one of the earlier ones to start. You know, her. One of the major cells of Rebels.
Yeah.
So I wish they would just, I don't know, I just want Disney to fix my fucking Star Wars so I can stop
Do you think
bitching.
that's gonna happen? Do you realistically think they're gonna do that
I
to your liking?
I don't know. The other thing is, I think that's why they want to go with a whole different era Star Wars that no one's done, no one's mentioned, nobody really. There's not a lot of legends like books or continuity in the times before Episode One, beyond Plagueis. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So, like beyond that, I don't. That's I think that's why Disney chose to do that particular way of, oh, since no one's done a lot of stuff, no one's gonna complain about this. Boom, let's do this. So Disney can make whatever the fuck they want. You get me?
Yeah.
Here's the biggest
It's
kicker.
all
There's a lot of things that in that time area, because Yoda is still the Grand Master at that time. 400,
still.
400 years before A New Hope. Because he, I believe he started being, he became a Jedi Padawan at 100 years old.
Well, his race is
Like
well long
long
lived.
lived. So he was around through that entire, you know, this whole era as well. I wonder if what they're gonna do with that, because George Lucas protects that fucking character like it's his son. I mean, it
Which
is
character?
Yoda. That's why.
Oh,
That's why. Yoda actually the Yoda species doesn't actually have a species title. Like it doesn't have like it's not a human. It's not a Zabarax. It's not a it's not a Wookiee. There's no actual like title, and that's why everybody calls it Baby Yoda. You get me? Because there's
do you think the creation of Baby Yoda would go against that? Like,
no. Well, actually, the whole thing with Baby Yoda was actually approved through George Lucas with
oh, okay,
so
so there is something.
that's what they did all that because um although he doesn't have you know a lot of control, I don't think he has any control anymore, to be quite honest. Like
Mine.
actual like legally anything. But I know that John Favreau and Dave Filoni actually asked him about it. There's actually a really cute picture of him holding the baby, the puppet, uh, on set, where he's like holding it like an actual baby, like an actual child. I gotta find that image. Lucas baby Yoda. There it is. Let me see if I can get a. And boom.
Looking.
He's like, "You're my son." Yeah. So
You know what? Makes sense now. Good for him.
yeah. I also like the even though he doesn't run the run the bitch anymore, he's still kind of involved with most of Star Wars. I wonder if that's something to do with when he sold it when they sold it the company. Like he got some kind of like some deal with it, like some collect some creative free like creative say.
Yeah, like he still has involvement in it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I
I'm
mean, it's kind of hard to because it's George Lucas.
yeah. I mean at the end of the day, it's also his story. He you know
Like, like,
it
like, defying him it's completely would be like. I mean, I suppose they've already done most of that, but
it'd be like making another SpongeBob movie.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just wanted to throw that one back out there. Keep that one relevant. That show is continuously gonna be on forever.
It will. It will be the heat death of the universe, and there still will be SpongeBob reruns. No, new SpongeBob
New
episodes coming
SpongeBob
out.
episodes coming out. The world will end, and after the world ends, we'll still have SpongeBob episodes to watch after the apocalypse.
And Simpsons.
And the Simpsons,
This,
and the Simpsons, and Family Guy,
And South Park.
and South Park. Yep.
you know what? And I'd say and Team Fortress 2. but this actually kind of segues into another topic I want to talk about.
Go for it.
So,
Supplies and need assistance.
All I can get.
so recently, I think this happened within the past couple days. I noticed it when I woke up one morning. Someone apparently leaked the source code to Team Fortress 2 and Counter Strike Global Offensive. Not current day source code, but like from like 2017, 2018. The story is from what I hear, and I can't entirely verify this, but the guy, you guys have heard the term a simp, right?
Excuse me.
Have you guys heard? Have you guys heard of the term a simp?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
make I was gonna make a joke, but I'm gonna shut up. Continue.
yeah, yeah. He was one of those guys. He was like swooning over e-girls, and basically he was a bitch boy about it. And out of spite, he like released the source code because he was involved in like a potential project for Team Fortress 2, and he got the source code files to work on it, but that nothing came from that. And he always kind of had it, and just out of spite for I guess the world because he got rejected by the girl because he's a simp, and like, of course it's gonna happen. But apparently he's dumb as shit.
Stop simping.
Anyway, yeah, I know. So he leaked them, and it's been hell. Not necessarily for CS:GO because they're more updated than Team Fortress 2 is, but Team Fortress 2's last major update was in 2017, 2018. That was Jungle Inferno. So there's not too much different from there, and hackers with the source code can do crazy shit. Like they can literally install malicious files in your computer through the game just by being in the same server as you are.
That's fucking nuts.
It's ridiculous. I think Valve released a statement saying that there is no need to worry about it, but I don't believe it honestly.
So what you're telling me is not to boot up the game anytime soon.
Yeah, no, do not play Team Fortress 2. Believe me, I love TF2. I have 2,100 hours in the game. It is my second most played game of all time. And I love it. I love it to death. But if it's like this, I'm not touching it with a 20-foot pole. That's a lot because I said I wouldn't touch Fallout 76 with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, that's 100% true.
Shows how much I don't trust at this point. Valve's always neglected Team Fortress 2, and it's sad, but I think unless they really do something about this,
It will never get fixed.
it'll kill the game.
Is that gonna be your bet down there that that's gonna be a
That's my gut feeling.
if if they don't
It's
fix it now, it's never gonna get fixed, and they're gonna fuck the whole community.
not that it's never going to get fixed, but they don't fix it in time. People are just going to say, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," because the risk of having malware installed on your computer via hackers is just it's too great. It's too great, and people aren't going to
Put up with it.
ignore the threat. Yeah,
No, I feel that.
and it's Team Fortress 2. So much time, so much money wasted. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think Valve will do anything about it, but I'm willing to be proven wrong on all this. I could be wrong just flat
You
out.
want to be
maybe
proven wrong.
I want to be proven wrong. Like maybe maybe this isn't a serious issue. So the source code is different enough, but it's the source code to the goddamn game. There's gotta be something in there that hackers can use.
So
And hackers are crafty. They'll do anything to fuck with people. I'm sure we've all had experience with hackers in some way or form.
every
Right?
day I'm on GTA, I deal with hackers, dude. It's like
There you go.
it is now become the norm to deal with the hacker in every server you're a part of. Without
There
fail,
you
you're gonna
go.
deal with one.
So yeah,
And I
that's
feel the same thing about Rockstar with this with fucking with GTA that they just don't fix the the problem with hackers.
Do you think that's such a big problem with GTA though,
Here's the
or
biggest
that
thing
could be a bigger
because
problem?
we have friends who've been affected by it. Yes. And here's why. Because normally when you there's there's hackers and modern stuff. Typically the accounts that were associated with the hacking and any accounts that were then like for example if I'm a hacker and we're all playing in the same lobby and I do stuff to give you guys money, or if I give you guys, special equipment, that shows up on your account and stuff, and that's all marked under their whatever fucking Chinese malware that they use to find hackers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And um, so not only does the hacker get infected, but everybody that he came in contact is also affected. That's actually how Karina lost her account.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That actually happened to me on PS4, and that's why I completely switched to PC because
Oh
I had
yeah.
lost money and time and hours in that game. I was like almost level 300, dude, on PS4 GTA. Just tons of time and effort gone, and that really ticked me off. And then when it
Don't
happened to
blame you.
Karina again, I was. That's actually why we stopped playing so much, as well, is because of that. There's been so many issues with hackers since the last actual like major update, because like they have Fallout, GT has an update every Thursday, but it's typically just switching out the car in the podium and sales, but it's not like fixing bugs. It's not um you know new content or any of that stuff. It's typically that.
Yeah, like nothing to really fix anything. Just yeah.
When they do release an update, it's typically a big fix and it works for quite a while. But the last update was, I want to say, October, when they released the Diamond Heist stuff.
Right.
So
Yes.
like that's the last major update.
So, do you think that Rockstar will work towards maybe patching these exploits and hacks and stuff?
Eventually, yes, but for the time being, no.
Makes sense.
They'll probably wait to release like a major update to fix all of those issues, if they are, because supposedly they're working on GTA 6 finally. So I don't know how much more money
Oh yeah.
they're going to want to pour into GTA 5. I mean, I can assume they still want to, because it's still to this day making them buttloads of money.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of thought of.
Yeah, cars aren't the only shit we're stealing. They're also stealing our wallets.
Yeah, that's why I don't play Grand Theft Auto. Or well, not without you guys at least.
Yeah, and I don't, but like all the money and stuff that I get, and now because I have Twitch Prime and all that stuff, it's you get tons of money and shit for free. Like why really ever pay for anything on GTA anymore? You get me?
Yeah.
Um, no, well, that's a whole other thing that I wanted to bring up. Um, with all this shit coming out, is there a game that was delayed that you guys were looking forward to because of the shut? I mean, it was delayed because of the shutdown, not you know.
Actually, I'm thinking about it. Hmm. I don't think games that many games. Oh,
I,
I think there are.
honestly, I didn't. Up beyond Doom Eternal, there wasn't any games that I was looking forward to this year. Oh, I lied. Bullshit. There's one game that's coming out in June, and I can't wait to fucking get it. SpongeBob Rehydrated the Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated edition. They're coming back they're coming back with that game, and basically making it just modernizing it, getting it much better. Better graphics, better sound quality, a bunch of stuff for the game. and
The
I can't wait for
remaster,
that.
right?
The remaster. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I can't wait for that fucking game. It's not been delayed. It's actually been moved up to June.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's actually getting released sooner now.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that. I'm gonna be streaming the shit out of that game. Can't wait. I played that game back when I had a fucking toaster, an actual toaster, man. It was like legitimately shit.
Those were the days.
I remember playing games like bunch balloon tower defense like on coolmaths.com or whatever on a computer back from like the early 90s. Like say like 2010.
I mean, it's all we had at the time, so
So yeah,
much choice.
no,
Like, yeah, I remember playing on real shitty computers, because that's all we had. Like, my family, technologically speaking, we were good up to a point, and then we just kind of stopped getting new stuff, and we were using dial-up well into the 2000s.
I remember
For
we were too for a while, and um, my for the longest we actually didn't have internet because we had a computer that was really old and stuff, where my parents wouldn't use it and stuff, so they wouldn't just pay for it. So I think that's why the biggest thing is why I didn't get into playing on my PC in an earlier age, was because the fact that instead of playing on the computer, I just played console.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe that's why most people did.
Hmm.
Because consoles became so much more popular than computers at one point. I mean, nowadays, that's to be decided.
PC
Especially with,
Master Race.
of course, kidding.
No,
Although I will give credit where credit is due, the new consoles do look promising.
that new Xbox looks fucking terrifying, dude. Like it's competing hard with us. You get me? Like it's
Yeah.
gonna have a rise. If correct, it's supposed to have like a Ryzen 3, I think, is in the chip, like the lower tier of it.
Oh wow, a 3. Okay. I mean, that's already promising.
That's already a huge upgrade, you know.
Here,
And supposedly PlayStation has this new like super crazy SSD they're working with. I don't know who the fuck is developing it, but it's like the super fast like um SSD that boots shit up really quickly.
yeah. You know what I think it is?
Hmm.
Um, especially nowadays, technology is getting to the point where it's easier to get something that looks really good on lower end hardware.
Hmm.
Um, basically that, like, even on like a lower grade system these days, like, say take a Ryzen 3, take a GTX 20, not even 20, take take a 1050 Ti,
Hmm.
like one of those older ones, like that, like lower end hardware that doesn't really cost that much can still make, like,
It could do work.
yeah, the hardware is getting good enough to the point where,
It's viable beyond its
yeah, it's easier to get good looking graphics out of lower end hardware. So, and that's finally starting to catch up with consoles to where they could get reasonably priced lower end hardware that can still pump out good looking graphics with hopefully better frame rates and better graphical fidelity. Like 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 I like the shit on consoles a lot, but they're finally getting to a point where, okay, that's justifiable. I'm still not gonna get a console. I have a
they
very expensive game PC that I poured a lot of money, time, and effort into.
they've they've
Um,
they've called in the United States to help them uh in World War II. That's what they're doing,
what?
man. I'm comparing the consoles to the U.S. joining World War II.
Oh, cause
because
Okay.
they're making a comeback. I can't even say making a comeback. More like they're catching up. They're
Yeah,
what's a good catch up story?
they're catching up. They're doing work, and you know what?
Good for them.
Good luck to them. We'll see what the next era of consoles brings.
Yeah, because that was something that I don't know if we've mentioned, but there's been so many different generations of console gaming. Like
Yeah.
start. I don't even know, the simple beginning of Pong and stuff. But like before even the first PlayStation 1, there was I think maybe 3 or 4 generations before that. Let me look into this really quickly, so I'm not speaking out of my ass, which I like to do. Okay. Jeez. This is more elaborate than I expected it to be. I've gone through a rabbit hole. So there's 8 generations of consoles.
Fuck.
Uh, shite. At least that's what it's saying here. All right, come on, load. All right, so the first generation stuff was color TV games, home Pong, and like Stunt Cycle in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
those old things. Yeah.
yeah. The first generation had home Pong, Binton TV Master, which I haven't heard any of these. TV Tennis and Magzox Odyssey. That's from 1972 to 1980. Second generation was from 1976 to 1984. I don't know why the generations kind of intertwine. The
Yeah.
Atari 2600 is in this one. The Odyssey, handheld,
Classical.
uh, Game Watch, and television, and the Pocket Computer. Generation 3 was from the 1983 to 1992, which was the SG-1000, the NES, Master System, the Atari 7800, and the Commodore 64. Like I've heard of maybe like 2 of these.
Those are that's like an entirely different era of consoles. Those
Like
are like old.
so this is like something that now we were gonna get into. 87 through 96, the PC Engine, Genesis, the SNES, the Neo Geo ASE, uh, the Game Boy, Lynx, the Game Gear, and Turbo Express.
Ah, the Game Gear. I had one of those.
And now we're getting into something more moderate. The 1993 to 2006. Um, the Town's Marty, the 3DO Interactive, the Atari Jaguar, Saturn, the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, a Nintendo
I had one of those.
64, Nomad, Virtual Boy, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, the Neo Game, and Game.com, which I have no idea what the fuck that was. And then the 1980 to 2013, the Dreamcast, the PS2, GameCube, the original Xbox, and then the Game Boy Advance, the N-Grade, and the Tripwire Zodiac. I don't know the other two, the N-Gabe, or any of those. Never heard of those. And now we're currently in the. It's amazing that 7th generation is still present, and 8th generation is also present. So from 2004 to present, the Xbox 360, PS4, Wii, the DS, and the PSP, and then the current generation of the PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and 360. 3DS and the Switch.
Is the Wii U really part of the same
This
generation as
same
this?
generation, yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
The Wii U was like early in the It was like the first one to come out before the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and then we now have the Switch. So they've released two in this generation.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's a history lesson for you guys.
Really, I know. Jesus.
I still have my old Game Boy Color somewhere with Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, I have my PlayStation still stuffed away in the closet. I've got an RCA converter around here somewhere too, so I'm sure if I plugged that thing into the wall and hooked it up, it'd work.
Yeah, I have a Dreamcast and an Xbox One sitting in my closet somewhere.
Man,
Good shit,
good
man.
times.
Good
Question mark?
times.
Good
Good
times.
times.
Good times.
I remember. I Oh my god. I remember playing the original Battlefront 2. Playing the 2005 edition, one, on a demo disc for my PlayStation. Do you remember getting those demo discs? Or, they'd send like a disc with a bunch of different one level of a game. It was like 8 or 9 games.
I don't specifically remember that.
What about you guys? Fat Boy, Cummy, Manny.
Uh, yeah. To be honest, I don't remember playing demo discs. Like I grew up playing the PlayStation and fucking Nintendo 64, but I don't remember any demo discs. I remember buying bundles. Like there was one with Ratchet and Clank, a skateboarding game, and Sly Cooper. But those were the entire games, I believe.
Yeah, no, these were like you basically like you. I don't even remember where we got it from, but like I know we didn't pay for it, but it was a bunch of just demos, and since at the time we really didn't have a memory card, it was one of those games where like, oh, we can just play one of these games and be done with it. And that was the thing. That back in the day, man, if your parents wouldn't buy you a memory card with your PlayStation 1 or 2, man, was shit difficult. You had to sit there and play an entire game or leave it on and shit. You guys remember?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
remember those struggles. Those were my struggles back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some good shit, man. Those were some good times. When don't you cheat, well?
I didn't
Cheaters.
try cheating because I didn't actually do a hack. I just found an easier way to.
So yeah, no.
That's called an exploit.
No, that's called a feature.
It's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, there you go.
All right, calm your shit down, Bethesda.
Taking a page out of Bethesda's book. Honestly, mod pack, speed jumping, feature, not bug. Definitely feature. I'm
That's
not even
definitely
talking
the
about that.
feature. That's definitely a feature. But the what was the one that we found? What was the shit that we called that was a feature? It was on the pod. It was on the stream we did. Fuck.
It wasn't the internet. It wasn't interdimensional waystones. That was definitely a feature that is not going to be a feature in future
Yeah,
versions.
yeah. That's the one.
Something was a feature, not a. No, I don't think this was it, but same category. Going down an elevator resets that
That
unheard.
that my friend. That was the best. That was a good find on that part.
That's a feature, not a bug. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what we're talking about. We didn't just accidentally find that. No, no. Psh, psh. What are you talking about, Willis? Swallow your mic. I'm waiting to hear the gulp.
I think that's all the topics I had.
Um, I don't think I had anything else. Do you guys want me to? Do you guys want to do one of the questions from my book? I know we've been doing that quite a bit.
You know what? Good idea. A little bit of a palate cleanser. What you got for me?
Alrighty, gentlemen. I'm just gonna open up a random page and let's pick one out. Oh, this is a good one. This is a great topic for a segue. What is the one thing you hate about computers?
Hey, I
Their
hate about
price.
computers. Oh God.
I gotta you know what? That is one of the complaints that I have. Is the heat that they produce. Like, I have my PC on. We have two fans and a window open, and this room is a solid like 80 degrees right now.
Yeah, in the summer they're nightmares because not just the computers themselves overheating, but the amount of heat they produce. Okay, this happened earlier today when me and Wishua my sister were streaming. We had our windows closed, so not a whole lot of heat was getting into the room. But the computer we were playing again, we were streaming, was creating so much heat. It got like to like at least 80, 85 degrees in the room.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
We Fatboy and I have been using this room almost like a sauna. So I leave my PC on, we're watching whatever, and it gets so hot in here, we just sweat. I'm pretty sure I haven't gained any weight because of that. I just keep sweating off all the fucking water weight.
Electronically assisted weight loss.
Yep. Look, man, if it works, it works. But like, that was the whole thing. Like and the problem is that you really can't fix how much heat they produce. You get me? Like, there's only so many things you can do, right?
Yeah, it's entirely dependent on just basically the better your computer is, the more heat it's going to give off because it's going to have better parts, better components, and those components usually use up more power and therefore generate more heat. You can buy beefier coolers to help your computer cool down, but that's just going to dissipate more air into the room,
Yeah.
more heat into the room.
And that's one of those things where like I have two fans and a window open, and if I like, all I would need is maybe one more fan for better circulation, and it would work because the room is typically like 95 in here. We close all the doors and stuff, 95 to almost 100. Like, it's super hot when I have my PC, his Xbox, two warm bodies in a literally like a 10-foot by 10-foot room.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Installation City.
So it gets hot.
What do I hate about computers though? Here's the thing. I love computers. And that's because I'm tech savvy. Like computer hardware I love that there's modularity to it, that it's actually pretty easy to put the computers together. I guess something that I'm not too keen on in terms of computing is like, oh, I know what I hate having to get OS keys, especially for like Windows and shit,
that that that
because
that's annoying. Yeah, I gotta admit to that too.
if you get it from Windows themselves, it's very expensive. And if and yeah, you can get them cheap off of like eBay and shit,
Hmm.
but it's always like, oh, it's like whenever I'm gonna recommend building, gonna help someone build a computer. That's the one thing I'm like, OS key. How am I gonna do that?
Well, I
And,
mean,
and
I've bought in a couple of keys from eBay, and then, at least to my knowledge, I haven't had an issue. The one thing I have an issue with, and it's not even the it wasn't even caused by the actual key itself, is that my Windows is stuck in 32-bit.
what?
I have 64 installed. It says it, but it doesn't let me do anything in 64-bit. Like, OBS right now is running in 32-bit and not 64 for whatever fucking reason.
That might contribute to a lot of your problems, actually.
Well,
Now that I'm
I
thinking.
thought that was true, but currently I haven't had another issue with OBS. What I have been having things is with my graphics card has, I want to say it gets a safety feature, but when it gets too hot, it shuts off. So my PC is still on, but my graphics card had turned off. What I didn't know is that there's an eco mode on it, and I can just turn that off.
Have you done that?
I did. That's
Have,
literally,
have,
that's why that whole thing was, and now I've been regulating my fans on it, and it's been fine. I put it through another fucking set of stress tests.
so you've been good now ever since you did that.
Yeah,
Okay, but those stress tests are just him watching 64 pages of porn.
just
That's a lot of porn, dude.
I opened up 64 tabs on a fucking on was it Windows on Chrome, and just
Crow.
just heard my PC literally tearing itself. just crying itself like.
What?
Your laptop is
The laptop 2 can't run 1, dude. What are you talking about? 5.
Haha, Chrome.
Fucking Chrome, dude. What? Why does Chrome eat so much RAM? Why does it do that?
I don't know. I use Firefox. I don't know.
I use Firefox too. Nah, man, you gotta use DuckDuckGo.
That's a search engine.
I mean, yeah, not fuck. What's the other one? You gotta use. Is that another one you can use, or is that just still also a search engine? Bing.
Internet Explorer.
No, it's called Microsoft Edge. Okay,
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
it doesn't help. It doesn't help the
Edgelord.
cause.
Fucking edgelords.
Fucking edgelords. God damn it, I hate it.
Badum.
I can't take Tat seriously anymore because of that fucking joke he makes with that. I just can't. I just can't sometimes.
Yeah, computers. Mainly software stuff.
Uh,
What about you guys? The rest of you guys? Why? I think I heard you say the price.
What about you, Fat Boy? What about you, Manny? What do you guys hate about PCs? Manny, are you still using the same PC that you built right after high school?
Yeah.
Have you upgraded it at all?
No,
I
I
don't
haven't.
know. Might be. Ooh, shit.
I think he'd be the one that I would recommend to upgrade now. Cause I remember he was on a we
Intel Core i3 and a 4700.
yeah.
Not 4700. She had RX 470. I'm sorry.
Cause I had the 480 and supposedly the 480 wasn't the bad one, but I mean excuse me, the 480 was the bad one because it was catching fire.
What? Did you get a 480?
I had a 480 and I never had a problem. The problem I had was with my CPU, not my GPU. So it never caught fire. I still have it. We're gonna put it in Boyle's PC when we get a power supply. So so I found something out. A friend of mine has a thousand watt power supply.
Fuck. Okay, that's a lot.
So because one of our other friends, Mao, recommended because at the time when they were building building PCs, uh, to his knowledge, the better shit you put into it, the more power it requires. But they didn't know that current stuff, what we're using, is typically not crazy power hungry. You get me?
Yeah.
Like running our stuff, we can still I'm using a 650, power supply, and I still don't have a problem. And I believe, don't you have one too?
Yeah,
Six
650 watts. Yeah,
yeah.
done
I
me
mean,
well.
so this friend has bought the thousand watts and doesn't use it.
Yeah. Like, okay, so in terms of power consumption, kind of like tying in with what I said.
Who's playing Doom?
It's not Doom.
Doom?
It's
Who is that?
Dust.
Dust.
I'm about to say, it's like, I don't remember Doom having dual shotguns like that.
I know, right?
I was like, wait a minute. I was so confused, bro. Okay, you continue. But I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's Dust. It's a great game. I highly recommend. It's fun. Um, what was I saying?
You were talking about power supplies.
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't realize you switched. You switched to my
Well,
screen.
when he mentioned it, I did. Yeah, and I also have mine down here, but I've been playing a ton of balloons.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So yeah, tying in kind of off what I said earlier. a lot of modern day hardware is not only far more powerful than older ones, but also significantly more power efficient. To where the point like getting uh like having 1,000 watt power supply, unless you're going for something that's extremely high end, is frankly ridiculous because you just don't need that amount of power because everything's so much more efficient. Back in like back in like I don't want to say the good old days because I'd rather have these components than the old components. But back in like the GTX 480 days,
Yeah, well, that was like
though
a few months ago.
GTX, not
Oh,
RX,
GTX,
GTX.
yeah. Hmm.
This is long. This is way this long. This is like back in the way before even Ryzen.
Hmm.
The GTX 480 was so power hungry, because it was a very powerful card for its time. That it was like it ran. It was one of the hottest cards to ever run. People would make jokes about it catching fire, and like you could cook meat on its heatsink. It was ridiculous. Um, so back then, if you wanted to run say dual GTX 1080s, you would need a really high end power supply just to supply the power for that. And GTX 480 compared to today's standards doesn't even have the amount of power that say a GTX 1060 has.
Yeah.
Let alone a 1080. And those cards are extremely more efficient. So having 1,000 watt power supply, unless you're gonna SLI some really high end cards, not really necessary.
Put dual
I mean,
fucking Titans and fucking.
dual Titan X's, yeah. Oh god.
Whew, I already came just thinking about it. What would justify that?
What?
Other than just having the money, what would justify using double Titans?
For
Crisis?
gaming, not a lot, but yeah, gaming not a lot, but that's scarecrow.
I could see it being used a lot for like.
Actual like workstation use,
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say like.
hardware acceleration projects,
Yeah,
graphical rendering stuff like that. Like that's where it's used for. Like Nvidia makes like cards called the the Quattro series of cards, and those are specifically designed for like workstation use in like movie and cinema editing, where they're just super powerful and stuck in like server rigs because sorry server racks because they're so powerful and they um yeah, it's used for like video rendering and stuff. They're also absurdly expensive, but that's because they're sold to like Disney and shit, and they can afford really expensive cards, so they inflate the price. But in reality, they're no better for gaming than like a Titan X or
mm,
whatever.
there you go. Excuse me. Yeah, no,
What do
that
you do?
I just switched games.
But yeah. Nowadays, I guess the moral of the story is nowadays you don't need a lot of money or high end hardware to make something that looks good. Like PC gaming is actually pretty damn affordable compared to a couple years ago, even a decade ago. Sure Wise will disagree with me here, but it's actually not that expensive to build your own PC.
He's like bullshit.
Depends.
Depends on
If
what.
you're
Depend.
buying a pre-built, you may incur fines from other things that would factor into its cost. But if you build your own computer, which realistically I don't, you know, whatever you want to do, they'll generally be more expensive. But you can buy pre-built systems made by reputable people. Like
Shit, that's what a
there
manual
are,
does.
but no, like actual companies.
Hmm.
Yeah, you made it his own thing. Oh, where's the soap? There's the soap, hey, buddy. There you go.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. Ooh, mysterious egg. Interesting. These cars are looking pretty good.
Yeah, legitimately, Ryzen 3. What's on the lower end of modern day cars? It's not the 10 series, because I haven't kept up with that.
Probably the because I mean my card is still the 580s, the RX 580s. I can't even say they're on the low end because they're still
That's more
competitive.
mid tier.
That's still mid.
Like 460, like a 560. Yeah, even like an RX 560 is a good card. If you're going for 1080p 60, like no higher resolution, no high refresh rate, you don't need like extremely high end hardware for that anymore. Like, I'd say we're like in like a golden age of computer hardware. Also, considering nowadays that RAM is also very cheap right now. Like, because if you remember, like like a year or so back, it was absurdly expensive. They had even like 8 gigs of it. Hell, I bought 16 gigs for like a little over $100 for 32 in my system.
So I mean
It's
I have
it's a good
32
thing.
right
That's
now,
all I
and
can say.
so I think I've only spent about 150. You know, just cheaper RAM, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Well, no, because I have RAM. Not all my RAM matches the same RAM. So remember, I think we talked
Oh,
about the other day that I need to just buy the other two RAMs to match the other one, and then I
yeah.
would be set. But yeah, no, that's quite a bit. And I want to point something out
Why is
because
that dying?
you didn't believe in me. Okay, we've
I
been
don't believe
talking.
in you.
We've been talking for solid 2 hours.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
Like you didn't believe it.
Maybe we should have this just where it's, yeah, just do whatever and then we'll talk.
Yeah, no.
Maybe this works out better.
I think it's because there's another thing is that we unfortunately today I didn't prepare enough topics for what I had in mind today, but we were able to just make a natural conversation, and
Yeah, yeah.
that goes a
Actually,
long
yeah.
way.
No, it's been really well. Real good. I do have one more topic to bring up, and it's a bit more somber. I realized after I looked through the
Go for
ReckLess
it.
podcast chat earlier. So this is, I know this podcast hasn't been too heavy so far, but so hold on, let me look at like, not to bring up heavy shit, but
Why is everything so heavy?
yeah. So there was a shooting in Canada, in Nova Scotia, where a guy dressed up as like a police officer and just went like a door to door, um, like knocking on doors, saying people will answer a door because he's dressed like a police officer. They would, and he would just shoot them.
What the fuck?
And the article that I listed says at least 17, but I'm pretty sure that count's probably gone up by now because they were still finding people. Uh, and I don't know what happened to the guy, but apparently it says here that he is dead. He might have killed himself. I'm not sure. But it's interesting because it was in Canada, and I mean, like, as much as I love to tout, like, oh, USA best, blah blah blah. Canada's probably a lot safer to live in than the U.S. is just
Yeah,
overall.
yeah, 100%.
So something like that happening in Canada is more of a tragedy than that something happening here.
Mhm.
And it's scary seeing that happen there because you gotta think what caused him to do it. Why did he do it? Especially in Canada, in Nova Scotia. It's funny. You want to know how I figured out how I when I first saw about this?
What happened?
Eckhart's Ladder,
Yeah.
the guy that's talking about it. I saw it because he did a video on it. I was like, oh
Oh
shit,
damn.
really? Because he lives in Nova Scotia.
Oh, the more you know.
Yeah. So it's a tragedy, and more so because it happened in a peaceful country rather than say here
The U.S. of
or the
A.
Middle East. Yeah, just something to think about. It's The world is tragic, and people are like breaking every day, and you just never know where it's gonna happen next. End of a sad story.
That's fucking sick, dude. I think about I think about all those mass shootings and stuff, and how that there's stages of things. You get me? Like nobody just goes out, from 1 second and be like, oh, I'm gonna go out on a murdering spree, and then just does it. There's like so much more to it than just that.
Yeah, people have to like snap
Yeah.
and be like. And here's the thing: you're more likely to be killed by someone you know than someone you don't know.
Yeah.
So watch your back. No.
Motherfucker. I knew it was gonna be you. I've known for years that there's gonna be I'm gonna die either 3 ways. It's gonna be at my girlfriend's hand, my brother's hand, or your hand, Ranger.
By mine.
Okay, I already know it. It's just something ingrained in my brain. What happened?
Gut feeling.
Yeah, it's ingrained in my brain that one of you three is gonna be the death of me, and I don't know, man. Every day it fluctuates.
You never know. It's kind of like.
I'm kind of like hedging my
Could be
bets.
today, could be tomorrow.
Hmm.
So you better watch your back.
See, I'm
I'll be
fat.
waiting in the
I'm
shadows.
I'm fat. I can't see behind my back, so
I guess all the advantage to me then. You won't see it coming.
right? Shoot.
You know what? I'm your friend. I'll make it painless. Don't worry.
Painless as what? Fucking cutting your arm off with a butter knife?
A rusty one.
Ah, such a bitch. If the fucking me being stabbed doesn't kill me, the tetanus will.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's do yoink, and let's do yoink. Block. This is not gonna go well. Yeah, that's what I figured.
So what are you playing now?
I'm playing Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
What the fuck? I lost. He's like I lost. He's playing the same deck as me. I know I lost already, man. Fuck. But yeah, no, a new set of cards just came out. I think last week, like for the TCG, and I gotta okay. I'm gonna go on this one. This is a topic I want to bring up. I play a lot of card games, and I mean when I mean a lot, I mean a lot. I play Pokemon. I play Magic. I play. I used to play Duel Masters. I play Yu-Gi-Oh. I play, you know. I've been collecting for a very long time. These cards.
Yeah.
And I recently hopped back into Magic because of the online, and I actually wanted to start playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh quite a bit because of it. So I started getting back into it and started collecting quite a bit of cards again.
Like the actual physical game?
Like yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I had actually already signed up for some of my local tournaments, and I was I was I got invited to compete in the YCS, which is basically like the main like tournament that they have at the beginning of the year. Like every, some most game stores have like a tournament every Friday or whatever, and they win a prize for the thing. But there's some official ones where you can actually compete, be ranked, and then move up to regionals and nationals and world championships and stuff. And they do that, once a year, every year. And this year I was preparing my deck. I follow a guy, a few guys actually, before my decision to play again. The guy is Mega Capital G. He's a big time competitive player. He does a lot of stuff like that. Does a lot of reviews on the new metas and what's going on and what's viable, what's not anymore, you know. And he does a lot of news for that stuff. And as like I was preparing, I've been preparing for weeks, and this whole coronavirus goes things out. They've actually completely canceled. Like normally like this tournament takes place in like mid-August. Like you start off in August and then Worlds begins in January. You know what I mean? Like that's how it goes. They've completely canceled it for this year and throughout next year
Because of
because of COVID-19.
ah
Like
ruiner of fun.
they didn't like they were not even gonna try to risk it. They were like were already not. They'd canceled all like the European one for this year. They did all of that right before. Like some people were mid like tournament like running the circuit, and then they just like oh we're turning off all we're not doing any of the events at all this year. I don't know if that's gonna change if this whole thing gets handled, but very unlikely.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, fuck. I wanted to get back into competitive, and this is what fucking happens. And and even they canceled even the online card game competitive stuff because they also have. So it's like you could play either traditional playing on, in physical or online, and there are two different tournaments. Two different types of tournaments you can play for those, and they all go to worlds, they all do nationals and stuff like that too. Um, and I don't know. I've always played that game physical, and that's how I wanted to play it because they actually do not they play differently because there's some cards that you can play online because the online card game doesn't just whatever cards that exist in current Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's all the cards that ever existed, point blank.
Oh, you can use all of them.
Like if it's in like some of the games and stuff that are like special to the games, then those cards are also accessible. Things that or haven't been printed yet or any of that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's not they don't line up because some of the cards aren't available in the
Yeah,
other like
hundreds of
in the other.
cards are actually not available. It's not a little. It's quite a few cards,
Guys,
they add more because then
I'm a coming.
they typically release online cards and then TCG cards and then back and forth they release them together. And now they're doing because the card game is now no longer focusing on the animes anymore. We're actually getting tons and tons and tons and tons of support for old archetypes that like when I was playing originally back in 2015, 2016 competitively are now getting all those new boosts to their rosters. So like all of my old
Gotcha.
cards, I can bring them out and just buy one or two cards and they're completely viable again. I don't have to even change anything. I have to add maybe a card or two and then boom, I'm viable again. I can just hop back into it.
Yeah.
And
Better than having to get a completely new cards, completely new strategy.
and that's what I compare with Magic a lot, Magic and Pokemon, because every year when they release new stuff, the last year stuff you cannot use it anymore. So if you have a Charizard from last year's game, you cannot play it with the next year's um
Yeah,
setup.
Pokemon has some oof.
So yeah, that's one of those things. I play it just to have fun. Those ones and Magic I played quite a bit just online, but I really wanted to get back into playing that stuff quite a bit. And it sucks, man. I was another hobby that I'd done for years. I want to say in the ballpark of about 10,000 cards.
Fuck, seriously?
Yeah, I have a lot of cards, dude. Granted, I have a lot of them that are playsets. That I have three of them, or sometimes more of them, because for the longest, my mom had a friend who actually worked at a comic book store. And she would buy me the whole box sets of them. So I wouldn't be buying one or two packs. I'd be getting 50, 60 packs at once. So I was getting tons and tons and tons of cards at the time. I still am. I mean that hasn't changed. I still get tons and tons of cards regardless of what it. So yeah. Is there anything else you guys? That brings me to my next thing. Do you guys collect anything? I don't know if we ever brought that up in a conversation.
Collecting? Well, I used to collect Pokemon cards, but I haven't done that in a long time. But no, not really.
Shit.
Never really got into the whole collection aspect of stuff. But that's just me. I don't know about you guys.
Manny, have you do you collect anything?
Nah.
Do you, I collect cards. I collect comic books. I collect shoot. What else do I have that's I don't know if it's more of a collection, but more of like an armament. I've been collecting bows.
It
I
counts as a collection.
I have three of them.
What quantifies as a collection?
That,
Though?
that's what I was gonna mention. Like I don't know because like I would you know what? Let me look that up. What is the
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed right now.
All right, dude.
Alrighty, man.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you, thank you.
Good night.
Fucked up. Good
Good
night.
night.
Oh, I fucked up. A little abrupt, but all right. I don't blame him. He usually isn't. He usually
Stay up this
doesn't
late.
stay up late, anyways. Yeah.
It is. There's no like official thing. What it says it, man.
Huh?
There's no official like. I mean, like the definition of it. But let's see, like, anything beyond 30 is what I'm seeing a lot of. Yeah, one is an object, two is a pair, three or more is a collection, assuming that their intention of collecting them. If you have more than three pairs of socks, that doesn't consider it a collection. Same as dinner plates or T-shirts. But you know, and oh my fucking god, hold up, I need to show this image. This
I
is,
have a collection of spiders.
he says I have a collection. This is the collection. It's just a bunch of fucking banjos.
Oh.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I suppose.
Alabama
Yeah. Yeah.
intensifies.
That's quite a bit. Yeah, that's quite a collection there.
See, and and you can see that like that's a collection. Like above three, it's a collection. So what were you gonna say that you have more than three of?
Well, you see, here's the thing. You could say I collect computer parts, but the point isn't to collect them; it's to use them, and I have just spares lying around.
That is true. Because when I think of your like one of the other things I collect quite a bit is tons of of um um what are they called? RPG or role playing games like the books. Like I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight different um um just like Pathfinder D&D books.
Oh, okay.
Like my example would be like your father has tons of them, and that would quantify as a collection. I guess the other thing was video games. Your collection of video games.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose that does count. I guess quite the.
The Steam library.
Yeah, I think I broke 100 games a couple months ago.
Shit, dude.
Not that I've played most of them, but I guess yeah. I guess you say collect video games. It just seems to me like for it to be a collection, that the object themselves serve no real purpose. Actually, you know what? No, that's not. No.
Cause that's not true either. Because you can have a collection. Like there's a whole thing where like some of the most notable correct Porsches. The fucking like or Jared Leto, no Jade Leto, Jade Leto, the the
Yeah,
late night
Jay
host.
Leto.
Yeah,
Jared
he.
Leto is a god awful choker. Jay Leto is
No,
a
you're
god
right.
awful TV show host.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the host. He has just a collection of cars, just tons of cars. If I'm not mistaken, he owns a Batmobile, like one of the tumblers. Like one of the props ones. Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question, kind of related to this? I think I know what the answer is, but who's who was the worst Joker?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Oh. So okay. I was thinking that. Okay.
Like that's like hands down.
Yeah, everyone agrees that movie fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like bad because he was bad at it, or because the Joker character was bad?
Yes.
Both.
Both. Ooh, okay. Ooh.
Yeah. That the character wasn't written good, and his portrayal of said character was also very bad.
And what was even worse, how he got into fucking character.
Yeah. He got into character, and then still didn't do him much good. It also, you know what? It's also bad. It's not all his fault. The version of the Joker that he was playing, I other than for a lack of a better term, is just a difficult role to do, because you had to be this this crime lord, basically Scarface, but also be a multi personality fucking on a drop of a dime want to murder everything kind of thing. Like no remorse, none of that.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy role for anyone. You get me? We're not just hating on his abilities, but I mean, like, that character that they gave him wasn't helping him at all. You get me?
Yeah.
It also doesn't help it follows one of the best portrayals of the Joker in just modern history to
Yeah, by
begin with.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, no,
Which,
what?
by
Yeah,
the way, kick-ass name.
Joaquin
Oh yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah, yeah. No,
Now the opposite, the reversal of that. Who's the best Joker?
we're
Joaquin Phoenix.
ah no. I
And
can
this
debate this one. I can debate this one.
and this is where debate comes in. Okay.
All right, all right. I'm gonna fight this one. And here's the thing. You're saying best. What do you mean by best?
Let's go with. Let's go.
Like, what makes
Um.
Joker the most Joker of all the Jokers?
Yeah. Best Joker character. Let's go.
As long as it's character selling.
Alright, I'll rephrase myself. Live action is Joaquin Phoenix. Animated, uh, Luke Skywalker. Shit, I forget his name.
Mark Hamill.
Skywalker.
I'm sorry about that, but
Mark Hamill.
Yes, Mark Hamill. Hands down, he's the Joker's Joker to ever fucking exist, and I love him.
I want to say Joaquin Phoenix is live action, but
Heath Ledger did so good with that. The problem is no two Jokers that have been live action are the same. You get me? Like, you look at Jack Nicholson's one, where you had, the gangster. You look back at Cesar Romero's, where you had the prankster. You have, Jared Leto's being the psychopath. You have uh Heath Ledger's being the anarchist. And these characters, although under the Joker label, aren't the same as the character that we get in many of the stories for DC Comics. You get me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it makes it more difficult to say, oh, who's the better Joker? Who's the better Joker for being Joker? Because he's kind of all of those. Everything kind of takes aspects from another. My favorite portrayal of the Joker is Heath Ledger. Like the bar is very 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 high up for that. And my second one is what is gonna be Jack Nicholson's. The
Alright.
thing with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, it's like on par with Jack Nicholson. Like that's how good it is. Like it's something that there's nothing wrong with you know, how they portray the character or anything. It's just that Heath's portrayal is so much more. You fall for that character. You understand. You get me? That character becomes kind of attached to some feelings in you when you watch that movie. You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
And I want to go and I want to give that to them for them doing that, because I actually know why it works so well is because of how they most of again back to that old the sound conversation we had earlier. All of the music that was around with the Joker made the tension build and build and build and build, and then when it happened, it was almost like a horror film. You didn't. It was, you know, in your face, and that was the bigger thing with that character. With Jack Nicholson's, you got a character that from the beginning, you know, he was one way and he was just that, and he was faithful to the character he was playing. And the same thing with um with Joaquin Phoenix. They were the character they played was very faithful to what they were, what was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if we're just talking Jokers in general, Mark Hamill, hands down. That his tenure at doing the Joker and just about everything in our childhood wins him that one. From the Arkham games to the Batman Adventures to shit recent stuff. He came back to do him and Kevin Conroy came back to do The Killing Joke. Uh, it was a rated R animated movie for that, one of the best selling Batman comics. They did a animated thing, and you got to voice it again. Very good.
Mm. So he's so good not only because he does a good Joker, but because he's been in a lot. He's been a lot of
He's
Jokers.
he's affected when you. It's in one of those things where you always bring up Joker. It's one of those things where you mention there's a lot of voices of Joker, as well, not just the Jokers that we've mentioned here. Um, Let me get a total for you guys. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So, these are some of them. Joaquin Phoenix being the joke, from the Joker movie. Zach
Right.
Galifianakis from all the Lego Batman movie. Jared Leto from Suicide Squad. Troy Baker, which is in Arkham Origins and some of the shows and um some of the animated movies. You have Michael Emerson, who did the Dark Knight Returns. Um, you have Brent Spiner, who was in the Young Justice series for the voice actor. You have John. I don't know how to pronounce it. Holy shit, DiMaggio, who did his voice for Under the Red Hood, and he's also he's Bender, the guy who plays Bender for Futurama. Keith Ledger, the Dark Knight. You have Steve Blum, who plays Joker for all of the Lego Batman games, which is a fuck ton of actually now.
Oh, that's a whole
Uh,
different thing. Yeah.
yeah, Jeff Bennett, who plays him for the Brave and the Bold TV show. You have Kevin Michael Richardson for The Batman, which is another show, and Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, and Cesar Romero. 14 people have played the Joker.
All right.
And it's a debate for because they're all not the same character. You can't compare Mark Hamill to Kevin Michael Richardson. They're two different Jokers completely. And it's also because how they do stories for comic books. Since there's, how we mentioned in another podcast, there's seven for Batman and Superman. There's 80 years of comics. You know,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
when they make shows and stuff, they normally don't do all 80 years. They typically pick from some part of the comics or some version of the character, and then they build on that. Like my biggest one is Jeff Bennett's The Brave and the Bold one is a cartoon that's based in the Silver Age of comics, the early 80s like the late 70s, early 80s. So that tones are much different. The Joker's much more of a prankster and much more less psychopath, more jokester, prankster character. Very similar to Cesar Romero's Joker.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, the the gangster from Jack Nicholson. It's they're very different renditions of each character, the same character. So, and I mean, you could play that case for many characters, like that have been recast.
Yeah.
Look, um, so yeah,
Some people play characters better than others. Like, there's always going to be good people who did really good, and there's always going to be people that did really bad.
I can't even
But
I can't even say
not
not
really
even so
bad,
much
but
that, but I mean like it's just different. They're just characters that are different that play different with the world or whatever.
yeah,
Because if they weren't good at their job, they wouldn't be doing their job. You get me?
exactly.
I think it's just.
Well.
Yeah, no, wait, hold up. Let me think about that. Look at Bethesda.
Mm.
That's gonna be the running joke, isn't it? So yeah. But no, do you guys have anything else you want to bring up?
um, no, I said all my topics actually. The theory I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, no. We're 2.5 hours in. Do you guys want to end it here?
I say sure. I think this has been really good.
I like this. I like this form of podcast. We kind of we kind of get to talk, and it's less focused on what we're doing, but more what's going on with the topics.
Yeah.
What do you guys think, Fat Boy and
Yeah.
Wise? I don't know. I think it just makes it so we're not stressing about what's on the screen. More so what we're saying. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's more
I
relaxed.
think.
Yeah.
I think it also helped that we had
Very relaxed.
good topics too.
Yeah. So, yeah. But thanks everybody who watched. We'll be here next Thursday, same bat time, same bat place.
Yep. And
Uh,
then
please
then
like.
you'll and then
Oh,
uh
see what other
no,
shenanigans we get into for the next Thursday.
yeah. And tomorrow we have Minecraft still.
We do have an RNA stream tomorrow. About this right after our D&D game. And I know
Same
I'm
Central Time.
streaming tomorrow in the afternoon doing GTA with More to More
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Karina Love Sims. So that's gonna be good.
I'm considering joining it. But I do have to work on the mod pack. But I'll let you know.
Yeah, and then I mean we've been streaming quite a bit, so I don't know what I'm doing for the weekend, but I'll probably be doing something. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe to both my channel, Ranger's channel, all of our friends' stuff that they're doing their own things. Most of I don't I yeah I think I have everybody's things still linked in the description. So follow us on our social medias for those who do. And goodbye. Good night.
Yep. Have a good night. See you later.